settled down in front of the telly for that one. The next biathlon is going to be in Ruhpolding on the 9th and 12th of January, and Tulsa again on the 16th to 19th of January. So plenty more biathlon action on Eurosport. Make sure you don't miss it.
The Biathlon World Cup was brought to you by Warsteiner, partner in the Eurosport team.
Hello and welcome to finals day of the Qatar Mobile Open of 1997, the first week of the new ATP Tour, and a big day in the life of Britain's Tim Henman as he faces his first ATP Tour final against a man who's been there and done that, the former world #1, Jim Courier. They'll be doing battle here at the Khalifa International Tennis and Squash Complex in Doha, the capital city of Qatar. Thomas Muster was the #1 seed this week, but like so many of the seeds, he departed early, beaten by this man, Jim Courier, in the quarterfinals. Tim Henman, well, last year he reached 7 semi-finals, but lost the lot. Now, though, he's made the big breakthrough. Sure to reach a new career high, whether he wins or loses today. Tim spent the morning out on a boat watching his coach David Felgate do some water skiing. Courier, though, has been all business this week. John McEnroe gave some of the local kids some coaching, and everyone's enjoyed visiting a very different stop on the ATP Tour from the ones the players go to week in and week out. So a 4 o'clock start for the final. And the sun already low in the sky as Jim Courier, the former world #1, 26 years of age, from Florida, ranked 26 in the world, but if he wins this match, will move back into the top 20 and will almost certainly be seeded as a result for the Australian Open.
Totally purposeful. Tim Henman, his opponent, found time to enjoy himself at the hotel.
And here's Tim Henman,
And so it's going to be
22 years of age. Born in Weston-on-the-Green, Oxfordshire, now living at the family home, at his own flat, I should say, in London. Sorry about the slight confusion there. It seemed as if we picked up our colleague Jerry Williams talking to local television for a moment or two. So there's not a lot between these two in terms of ranking. Courier at 26 and Henman in rank 29 at the moment. But in terms of finals, well, it's poles apart, isn't it? This is a 32nd final for Courier and a first for Henman.
Yes, it can be a distinct advantage. Of course, it can also be a tremendous disadvantage, because you reach a stage in your career when you can actually have been in perhaps too many finals, and your light is growing dimmer. Although I don't think that applies to Jim Courier. It's perhaps one way for the Henman camp to be looking at it. What I do think is that it's a terrific contrast in styles, and although it may not be the final that some people will have expected, I think for that reason, to my mind, it makes for, I hope, a fascinating contest.
These two meeting for the first time. They, funnily enough, flew out on the same plane from London together. They met up at Heathrow, where Jim was connecting through from Florida. You can see the wind is with us, and it's really been around for the last 3 days. Courier says that's to his advantage, because coming from Florida, he's used to living by the sea and playing in windy conditions.
Yes, I think from a number of points it can be to his advantage. Henman, as he is here, I imagine will be trying to play the net a lot more, for instance, than Courier does. And as such, volleying can, for a netman, wind in the volleying in the wind can be a little tricky. You have to play that much finer, that much more crisply, and the wind dragging balls out may be just more of a hindrance to Henman than it is to Courier.
They practiced a little bit together, these two, earlier in the week, and also they practiced together when they were both playing in the Grand Slam Cup in Munich last month. Sorry, we've got what sounds like a little bit of interference on the sound. We certainly have it in our ears. And we hope that that gets sorted out very rapidly. The winner today will take away $84,000 US, 190 computer ranking points, and the runner-up 59,600 and 138 ranking points. Jim Courier mentioned this is his 32nd final. He's won at 19 of the previous 31, including 14 on hard courts. But his record on hard courts last year, well, 10 wins, 7 losses. Henman's record on hard courts last year, 23 wins and 16 losses. And of course, they both have a perfect 4-0 record this year. Plenty of expatriate support for both camps. Plenty of stars and stripes and Union Jacks around this centre court, which holds around about 5,000 people. This is the 5th edition of the Qatar Open.
2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
The previous champions, Boris Becker, Stefan Edberg twice, and Peter Korda. Oh, yes. War paint has been applied.
Yes, and I think listing those champions, I think they tend to play really more the Henman type of tennis, don't they? They're more of the serve volleying type, although Korda perhaps more of an all-round player, but Becker and Edberg certainly. But Courier has been undoubtedly the most impressive player of the week. Just his progress through, and the fact that he's beaten in these last 2 matches 2 former French champions is indicative of that fact.
Seeded 8, Henman was the 9th highest ranked player in the draw, so just missed out on a seeding spot by 1. Courier last year, just the 1 title to his name in Philadelphia, but a man who traditionally does well at the start of the year. Here's his route through. Started against Sheng Xiaokan, had a marathon tiebreak, 12 points to 10 he won there. Then he beat the qualifier Razvan Sabah from Romania, and then those 2 wins that Fru was referring to over Thomas Muster and Sergi Bruguera, 2 former French Open champions, as of course is Courier. If Henman wins today, he will move up to roughly 22 in the world. If he loses, he'll, we think, be about 24, which will be a new career high for him when the rankings come out tomorrow. He started off with wins over 2 qualifiers, Hilbert Wildschlink from Austria, and then Tamir El-Sawi of Egypt. Then he beat the 5th seed Magnus Gustafsson, having survived 3 set points in the second set, and yesterday beat the Moroccan Hikam Arazi.
Yes, I think Henman's form has been good without being consistently good. He's had ins and outs and ups and downs, and fortunately being in and being up at the right time, which is very often the key to good tennis.
Sheikh Mohammed bin Eid, chairman of the Youth and Sports General Authority of the state of Qatar, is the guest of honor this afternoon. And Rudi Berger from Germany taking charge of the match, which is the best of 3 sets. Tie breaks in all 3 sets if we get to 6 games all.
Nobody that Courier has played thus far plays the brand of tennis that Henman does. Henman, I imagine, will be coming at Courier most of the time. I suppose really of those that he's played, only Schalken could be said to play somewhat like that. Muster and Bergera both preferring to play from the back of the court.
The final of the 1997 Qatar Mobile Open, and it's Jim Courier to serve. Well, Henman quickly into his stride, and we could well have a battle of in-to-out forehands today.
Yes, Henman strikes that shot well, but not as consistently as Courier, so that if you're a Henman fan, one would hope that it doesn't evolve into that battle.
And the one thing that I thought Courier played quite superbly with yesterday in his semi-final over Sergio Bergera was his drop shots, both off the ground and on the volley.
Yes, and also hitting this shot particularly well. What I liked in this rally was Henman's response to that forehand cross-court by Courier. It makes it that much more difficult, really, for Henman to pick where Courier is going to play. In the past, one's expected him to go to the right-hander's backhand most of the time with the forehand.
Coached by David Felgate, who's here with him. Jim Courier now being coached by Harold Solomon, who hasn't made the trip. Oh, what a start by Henman, and 2 break points.
Brilliant return of serve. Bergera was not able to break Courier's serve.
Both men have just lost their serve 3 times during the 4 matches they've played to reach the final. So that's a tremendous boost for the Henman confidence to break serve in the first game of his first final. It's no wonder the Union Jacks are flying quickly.